then we come in here.
So name, image, and likeness is your bundle of intellectual property rights that you can use and monetize. You have rights in them. It's related to your liberty just being a person. In America, we sliced out and cut college athletes from being able to capitalize off of their name, image, and likeness, off of their own intellectual property. That does not happen to drummers, doesn't happen to guitarists, doesn't happen to singers, but it happened to athletes. The Supreme Court partially rectified that when they said that education-related expenses don't have to be capped. But there's a broader conversation going on in each state in America about how to grant NIL rights to their college athletes. That's an important point. Interscholastic, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about K through 12. That's actually the jungle. We can talk about that later. But for college athletes, they now have a right to earn money and compensation even though they are on an athletic team. In this environment for NIL, that means you can grant your rights individually or, and this is the moneymaker, as a part of a group, collectively. So now athletes have the right to say, hey, I want to license out my name for this card, or my picture on this picture, or my video on this digital token, whatever it looks like. But that's still individual. It's a fork. So that's individual, then the group piece. The group piece is going to be fascinating because this is with universities saying, hey, all of our athletes in our school, we're going to let them enter into deals with us where they'll get a cut, like the music industry, like royalties, to license out their deals. So we're going to get 4 football players, we're going to bundle them up, got a running back, a wide receiver, a quarterback, a lineman, and they could all earn $4 let's say $4 every 10 minutes. But collectively, they can earn $10 every 10 minutes, right? Because it's 4 bundled together. So that's how you get the NCAA football coming back, right? It's with group licensing. But group licensing wasn't possible because name, image, and likeness rights for athletes made them ineligible. It just can't happen. You can't capitalize off of your liberty interests if the universities say you can't play if you do. But that's null and void now. And so what we're seeing now is some states that have executive orders. In North Carolina and Ohio, the governor just said, legislature, y'all moving too slow. I'm just gonna pass an executive order granting these rights. Or you have states like Mississippi, Florida, California that say we're actually gonna do it in the legislative process. And they pass that, right? Or you have states that have done nothing, right? Some states have done nothing. There's no executive order, there's no state legislation, but institutions said, we're gonna pass our own NIL policy. This is a crazy world. And so for intellectual property and NIL rights, it goes directly to that athlete individually being able to do stuff and collectively being able to do stuff, but also at what point does that athlete's liberty infringe on that university's IP and NIL? Jackson State has very valuable IP, okay? And this is outside of Coach Prime coming here. Jackson State, again, I've been a part of the SWAC since I was yay high. I appreciate it. But you understand there are certain brands that have that clout. At what point does the brand of the university infringe on that athlete's NIL rights? Or at what point does that athlete's NIL rights, if they grant it to the wrong party? Okay, Mr. Ash talked about his 3 buckets. I have my own buckets. They're on NIL deals. There's like four types of NIL deals. The first is anything related to integrity. If something is with performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, you stay away from that. But athletes need to know that. Don't enter into an NIL deal for like a steroid. That makes sense. Number 2, vices. Alcohol, tobacco, adult entertainment. You want to stay away from that, right? Now, you have a liberty interest to do that, but will that impact that institution's intellectual property? Which goes into my 3rd basket. I'm from Florida. Can you imagine an athlete entering in a deal with Powerade? Florida, Gatorade was made in Gainesville. They're not gonna go for that. But again, those are institutional prerogatives, right? At BYU, it's a Mormon institution. They can't drink caffeine, they can't drink coffee. So you can't get a Starbucks endorsement and be an athlete at Brigham Young. So that's the third bucket. And then the fourth bucket is everything that's not in the first three. And if you're an athlete, I'm telling you, do it in the fourth. We don't know about this other stuff. And so that's name, image, and likeness. That's intellectual property, and that is the can of worms that we find ourselves in America right now.